Hi and welcome back. In this episode I'm going to be fitting a front bumper to the Squareback. It didn't have one when I bought it, and I always think they look a bit weird without front bumpers, and the number plate is kind of awkwardly just sort of screwed on there. Someone's gone to a lot of trouble to smooth out the little bump in the front valance there that should hold the number plate, and then just stuck it on. It's not even, it just looks daft. So it's coming off. The trouble is that the little slots in the wings where the bumper mounts go through have been filled in, so I need to cut those out, and it hasn't actually got any bumper mounts on the inner wings. It's just been rust repairs in the past and it's had a flat plate put over it, which is probably why it hasn't got any bumpers on. So I've got some bumper mounts to weld on, but I need to get the bumper aligned properly so that I can cut the slots and mount the mounts in the right place. I think the easiest way to do that is to take the wings off. Further complicated by the fact that they've been sort of blended in and filled where they join on, and they should have beading in them instead. So I've also got a set of wing beading to put on it too. So I suspect this might be a bit of a pig of a job, but it needs doing. I've got the bumper, I've got the brackets, I've got everything I need, I think. So I'm going to get stuck into it. Right, got the driver's side off. It was a bit of a battle, but got there in the end. So next is the passenger side over there. I must admit I did this one first without filming it because I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if it was bonded on or if the joints were just filled. The wing is fiberglass, so it definitely wasn't welded, but luckily it was just bolted on. But there's a bit of underseal to tidy up and just a bit of rust to clean off before it all goes back together again. So I'll do that as well. But first of all, get the other side off. So the first step is to take the turn signal and the headlights off. So that's lens off first. The unit itself is actually held on with a couple of bolts from inside in the wing, so I'll have to deal with that in a minute. Headlights. Just that one screw holds the whole thing in. There we go. And now the wiring. So remember the blue one, in fact. I'm going to stop recording so I can take, in fact no, I was going to say I'll have to stop recording to take a picture of this, but in fact I can just look at the video instead, can't I? So the blue one is the earth, and then it goes yellow to yellow. It's very easy. And brown to brown, which is the earth on Volkswagens. Bit coded, and green to white. Right, remember that. That's the headlight off. Right, with the headlight and the turn signal off and the wheel, we can look at the fixing bolts now. The wing is held on to the inner wing with a load of bolts. Well, there's one missing there, but there's a load of bolts all the way along. There's two down vertical inside the wheel arch there, and there's some inside the spare wheel well here. So I'm going to take all those off. The ones on the other side were a bit of a struggle, so I had to grind the heads off a couple of them. So I'll crack on with that and then come back to you when the wing is off. Right, I think all the bolts are out now. It's just held on with filler and just general grot that it's stuck on with, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these thin spot weld chisels and a nice soft hammer and just try and break the filler off and see how that goes. I'll start here because this works on the other side. crack. I should point out at this stage I'm not too concerned about the paintwork. I don't want any bare metal, but the car's going to get repainted at some point fairly soon, and I'm going to put some proper beading on here to cover this joint up anyway, so that's not really a major worry. Let's see what happens at the back. There we go. Right. I think the next thing to do is clean up all this rust and gross under here, get a bit of paint on to protect it, and then we can look at doing the bumper mounts. Change of plan. I've got all the old bits of rust and crap and that off. There is a bit of corrosion actually that needs some dressing at some point in the future, but I'm not going to paint it now because I'm going to be welding in a minute down here some bumper mounts on both sides. So what I'll do is I'll weld those on and then paint it all together, or paint in the bits that need painting. Most of it's covered in underseal, so it's alright, but yeah, there's no point doing it twice. So the next thing to do now then is figure out on the wings where the little slots go. In fact, if we look at the back of this one, see there's the headlight bowl, you can sort of see where the slot's been filled in. So hopefully I can just cut that out. I'm hoping this other wing's the same. Probably is, it should be. So yeah, that's the next step, do that. Well, that worked out quite well. The original slot had been filled over, and as I started trying to find it on the back, the filler cracked on the front, so I could see the outline of it, and then it was just a case of punching it out, cleaning the edges up. So yeah, that's a bit of a result. I hope it works as well on the other side. Yeah, that one didn't go quite as well. Oh well, I'll have to fix that in the future. At the moment I just want to get the bumpers on it and get it so I can actually drive it again. As I mentioned, the whole car's going to get repainted at some point in the future, fairly soon, as soon as the Mexi's finished anyway. So yeah, it looks a mess, but honestly I'm not that bothered at the moment. I just want it back together again, and I can get the Mexi done then when this is out of the way. And here's the bumper, freshly powder coated. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but it's got like a metal flake silver. There was no chance of getting them chromed again. The back one's too badly pitted, and in fact this one's pitted as well. So again, the plan when the car gets repainted is that these bumpers are probably going to be body colour anyway. So this silver is just like better than they were, because they were really badly pitted and there was no paint on them at all. So those are the brackets. There's the bumper. Got some bolts. What I'm going to do is bolt the brackets, put the brackets onto the bumper, and then bolt them to the mounts so that I can get a position for the mounts, and then they can be welded on to the car, and then it'll all be solid, and then the wings can go back on and the lights and all the rest of it. And then I've got to cut all the beading for there, which is going to be a bit of a pig of a job, but it needs doing, so I'll have to do it. Right, get these bolted on next. I'm going to leave the cling film on there just to try and protect it a little bit. Don't want to get it all scratched. It costs a fortune to get it powder coated. Right, confession time. I've made a bit of a stupid mistake here. When I put the bumper brackets on the bumpers, they were quite a bit closer together than the width of the valance. So I stupidly acted in haste and cut slots in the valance for them to go through, thinking that I could mount the mounts onto the inner wings and have them go through the valance like they do on an early Beetle. But obviously that was wrong, so now I've got to address these two slots that I've cut. But in the meantime, I've just tacked the mounts on there, Got them all measured up and level and everything. They line up exactly where they're supposed to. So the next thing to do is pop this wing back off again, because I just put that on as a trial fit, and weld them in properly. And there we are, welded on and seam sealed around just to protect it. It's not particularly tidy, but when it's got some stone chip over it as well, it won't really matter. The rest of the inner wing is not exactly show condition, so it's more important that it's just solid. So while I'm waiting for the seam sealer to set, so that I can actually spray some stone chip over it, the next thing to do is get the new wing beading so that it's cut to shape. The little holes for the bolts there for the speed nuts need cutting out because they don't actually quite line up with the kit, because this particular piece for the top edge here is actually beetle wing beading with a round profile. It's different there, and it's different at the front, the vertical part down there, that bit there, but this piece is the wing beading from beetles, and these holes I think match up with beetle wings. These slots certainly do, to allow it to curve. So it just needs trimming and fitting, line up with that end lined up with the hole, and then one or two of them do line up. Others need recutting, so I'll do that next, and then we can get this wing put back on for good. Well, for now anyway. And that's it, with a load of stone chip over it. So now I just need to put the wing on. I've done the other side already with new beading. Top there, down there, a bit fiddly, but it did work out alright in the end. So I'll just do that side now, and then it's a case of putting the lights back together and the bumper back on. Right, I've got the wings back on and the lights and the bumper and everything and the number plate. Are you ready for this? Here we go. Ta-da! I reckon that looks really smart. So yeah, I need to alter the brackets very slightly, and just sort of finish it off. It's only got 2 bolts holding it on at the moment, it should have 4. But the object was just to get it on so that I can get back on the Mexi, which is desperately needing some attention here. So yeah, I'm going to spend tomorrow polishing the square and getting it all nice and shiny, and then that's it, done with them for a while. So the next video will probably be back on the Mexi, more than likely putting that floor half in there. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe and all that, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.